Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are diving into world of transistors, specifically the 2SA798 and the 2SA979. I don't have the 2SA979 with me today. However, if you need to replace one of them, stay tuned and follow along this method and it will work just fine. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to replace it with a pair of KSA992s. I'm sure some of you have seen this fancy looking transistor with 5 leads rather than 3 what we normally see in transistors. So what is this and why so special? Well, the 2SA798 and the 2SA979 are dual PNP transistors. Essentially it has 2 of these PNP transistors in one package, which make it useful for applications like differential amplifier stages in audio amplifiers. This was very common back in the day and used in many hi-fi brands like Pioneers and Sui Marantz and many more in their high-end models in the 70s. However, this can be hard to find these days. Obviously, the original one has been discontinued for decades. I've seen new old stock on eBay, but the problem, they are pretty much 50 years old or more. And you never know whether they are genuine or not. Either way, you cannot really guarantee how long it will last, right? It also has reputation for troublemaker, goes noisy, crackling, making shot noise, and many problems as they go bad. So many people suggest to replace it with a pair of Match KSA992s. I've also seen BC560 and NTE43 should do the job, but I've been using these for a long time now and they are reliable, cheap, and I have a lot of them, so this is what we're going to use. First of all, let me show you how to match transistors using my DCA55, which is really important, especially when you are replacing with one of these. This little device is very cool, costs around 50 to 60 pounds and does the job. Obviously, if you have curved tracer, would be ideal here, but it's rare to find and very expensive, right? The actual process is dead easy. Just hook the DCA55 probes into the transistor pins in any order and look for the gain readings and write it down on the paper, and that's it, right? So this is a brand new bag actually, just ordered and has hundreds of them. It's cheap that way. So let's talk about why it's important to match transistor without going too much in detail. The transistor matching is about finding pairs or groups of transistors with very similar characteristics, right? Such as current gain, threshold voltage, and other parameters, right? So these characteristics are determine how transistors amplify or switch signal in a circuit, right? When transistors are closely matched, especially in audio equipment, for instance, it helps maintain the sound quality by reducing distortion and ensuring the balanced amplification. If you are really interested on that subject, I will list some of the benefits here, so you can pause the video and read it through. One more thing to keep in mind when matching transistors, try to avoid touching the case of a transistor with your bare hands, because when you apply heat and the warmer it gets, you will get higher HFE readings or the gain readings. Basically, increase of temperature can result in increase of conductance, right? Right, all done. Took me a while to be honest. So let's begin with the build. But before, quick look into how the 2SA798 made of, right? As well as 979. So we talk this made of 2 PNP transistors, right? So if you look at the pinout, you will see it goes from base, collector, emitter, collector, base, right? So the B1, C1, C2, B2, right? So the emitters are tied together, right? Now, if you check out the KSA992 pinout, right? It goes from base, collector, emitter, right? So basically what we need to do is just to orientate the one of the KSA992s facing upwards like this, right? Another one facing backwards, right? So we now just made of same configuration as the 2SA978 or the 979. So hope this is clear enough. And that's all we need to do and solder it together, which we're going to take a look on next. Okay, let's pick 2 out of this strip, 35, 33. very close indeed. But before I start soldering, let me show you how I did it. You can assemble it in two ways, I guess. One possibility is bending one of the emitter lead and solder on top of each other, right? The other option is just put on top of each other without bending it, right? So if you don't bend it, in my experience, you might need a hand drill, something like this, to increase the hole diameter of the circuit board to facilitate both emitter leads in, right? If you bend it, you don't need to do anything. So it's up to you, how do you want to do it, right? Okay, right then, that's done. Next step is to use of a heat shrink tube, which will help to maintain both transistors tightly together, right? Which will also increase the thermal coupling of both transistors. Also, I don't have the thermal glue to glue them together, but I'm going to use my normal thermal paste. I believe a heat shrink tube plus the thermal paste should be good enough to hold the both in place. Right, final step of the process. We're almost there. I can't find my heat gun, but I have this Dyson hairdryer. It has plenty of power, it does the job very well. That's it, folks. Hope this was useful, and thanks for watching. Please stay tuned, and as always, please subscribe and hit the like button to help grow this channel. Until then, goodbye.